to review Suburbia, the Collector's Edition. So this game is one that I had bought the base game, all of the expansions for, and then they announced this beautiful new version where you could be any color under the rainbow, basically.
Yeah, there's like 13.
I think there were 20.
Maybe,
there's 20.
There's a lot of players.
Yeah, there's 20 different varieties, I believe. So, I figured if we got it, no more fighting over who could be blue or who could be purple or, if my sister and my wife are both playing, they can both be purple.
That is not the only reason to buy this game, though. If you buy it just for player colors, that's weird.
Well, I didn't say I was normal. But
there's other benefits to getting this version.
So this one came out and then they packaged it all in this huge box. Actually, this box is smaller than yours because this is you got the Kickstarter version, whereas I got the post-release version where they let you add on the components. So my box doesn't fit everything nicely like yours does. But yeah, this is one where kind of Robert got out there and got the version of this while I couldn't really justify the spend because I'd already had all the components, but pretty much, except for a few expansions. And then the opportunity came later on for me to get it at a slightly less pricey cost than what it would have been to get the whole thing post Kickstarter. And somehow I justified it in my head and got it.
Yeah, it wasn't a stretch. It didn't take a lot of arm twisting.
My heart didn't feel quite as sad. So now I have two versions of Suburbia. And you were just telling me that there's now looking at...
Yeah, Bezier Games said they're doing Suburbia 2.0. So basically they're redoing, I guess, the artwork, updating rules, again, repackaging the expansions to make it fit with Suburbia 2.0. So it doesn't sound like they're really changing a whole lot, just updating it.
Okay, so now we officially hate you, Bezier Games.
Yeah.
I
thought I was special when I got this because it was like, Randy already had it, we liked playing it. And I was like, cool, one, I get it with all the expansions, and two, much prettier version than his. But it didn't work out like that.
So, yes, so this is my copy. We don't have the official Kickstarter one here today, but it's got all the same
really the only biggest difference is the box is a little bit bigger. I think it's got, it's like a more like gold leaf or something on it, I think.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
All right, so talking about the quality, we've got, like I said, the player boards are all now two-sided, and they have one side without a city name. The other side has a city name and a picture that kind of goes along with the city.
But the most important part is inlay this time.
It's inlaid, yes. That's
which is
a huge improvement.
Important.
And they inlaid it with circle and square, which goes along with the income and the reputation, which is really nice. So you get to play as your favorite city if you want, or your favorite color, whatever you prefer. They also gave a nice plastic first player token, which is just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's crazily oversized, and it has a light that you can put in it for no apparent reason. I guess if you want to play in the dark, because there is there's a nighttime version expansion.
Suburbia
After Hours.
Yeah.
And then they've got game trays for everything. So there's really up the game with this.
So it really helps with setup. It helps with organizing it during play and taking it down. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, this game, if you haven't played Suburbia before, like we call it lovingly accountancy the game, because there is a lot of back and forth with scoring for your population and your reputation and your income. And every time you cross the threshold, it goes up and down and up and down. So it's an administrative nightmare. But this has made it simpler, I think. It didn't feel as complex dealing with it. We also got really nice metal coins, and they've given these are really a cool thing, these wood components, so you can mark the tiles with the important icons, so it's easily referenceable across the table. You can see how many airports are out there just by looking at the components, as long as you remember to put them on. That's the key. Because the icons on the tiles are kind of small and you can easily miss them. We got nice little cheat sheets for each player. That's new with the Suburbia, the original. I don't think we had any cheat sheets.
Now, I don't remember the tile quality from the initial game, but I mean, the tiles on here are pretty nice. The artwork is fantastic. As far as the actual cardboard itself, I think it's not anything special as far as thickness.
I think it's slightly thicker than the original. I don't know. I haven't compared them to the originals, but it seems like the originals were a little bit thinner, but not much.
But the artwork is definitely updated, and it's really nice.
Yeah, the art is new. I think they've gone all out with this version.
They really did.
I mean, it's really beautiful.
They got it really neat. I don't know if you can see it, but Randy will summon some pictures so you can see the what tower for the tiles.
The Tower of Terror.
It's really cool how it organizes your tiles so that it keeps it all in place.
But oddly, instead of you putting the tiles in and then flipping it and putting it on, you're supposed to stack the tiles and push it down on top,
which was tough.
That was kind of tough to get lined up correctly. So I thought that was kind of an odd situation, but it works nice as a shoe though after you get it on.
And you get a helicopter pad on top of it, but no helicopter.
Well, maybe that's going to be in Poot 2.0. So I have a helicopter.
I don't know.
You can have like what was it, the remote control devices and have it land on it.
Like
that would be awesome. Bring your tile to you. So yeah, the score board is the only piece that I was a little disappointed in. It's a 2-piece puzzle-like combining board,
and it doesn't
real flat. Well, the table's bowed a little bit too,
but so's the cardboard.
Yeah, so. It's not. That's about the lamest piece of the whole thing. I think is that scoreboard. So overall, for quality, I'm going to give this one a 9.5, just short of a 10 because of that scoreboard. I think that's the only piece that.
I agree. I think I was going to go for a 9 because even though the art, which is more towards the theme, is really nice, I don't think that they went all out for the player boards, but not for
the these thickness. Are a lot thicker.
I mean, if it met the same thickness as your tile board, your player board, that'd been really cool, but it didn't. So I was going to give it a 9.
Yep. Okay. So as far as the theme. I mean, this is a city building game, pure and simple. There's not much as far as a theme beyond the buildings, but they really do a nice job of incorporating the functions of the buildings and how it would affect the overall population, the income, and all of that.
The mechanics blend really well together.
So if you have an airport or what's the landfill or any kind of like factory. The population doesn't want to be near it, so it reduces the population if you put it near a residential area, a suburb. So they did that. And every tile affects kind of similarly. If you have restaurants, you buy the first one, the upscale restaurant. If any future restaurants come in, the income goes down. That's a neat touch because it's competition.
Really hurt me.
Yeah. So they went all out in thinking out through what the strategy is. And now I know in original Suburbia, there was a few quirky ones where it almost felt like it was a political statement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's definitely a few ones where I questioned whether the direction of the tiles would go the way they did. But that's subjective, and it's in the original Suburbia too. So it's no different in this, I'm sure. But they also have like every expansion for the game. So there's
a plethora of replayability.
There are
so high.
One of the expansions is like the gaming convention expansion, which is a mini expansion, but it's really cool to have like Gen Con in your back or Essen. So that's pretty cool. So as far as theme, I think I'm going to give this one probably an 8 as far as theme goes. They've incorporated it pretty darn well. But it is just basically a straight city land game, so I don't think it's like something that's hugely thematic in general, but they've done a lot with it.
I'm on the fence because I agree with that, but the art is so nice on it.
It is.
I think it compensates for that because every tile, each type of like park tile is unique, each type of city tile is unique, each type of factory tile, but they're all unique. So a lot of work went into the artwork. Your player board art's really nice. And how each city is unique, and it's got the touristy
Yeah.
things you
Well, I
would
love
think
that
of
I got to
for
play
that
Orlando
city.
and there's Epcot. you
Yeah.
know.
So
yeah,
I mean, it's just
I-
like all
I
that.
could see that.
I really like that. So I'm going to go a 9.
Yeah, I think you've talked me into a 9 too because of that.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy playing as Disney World, basically. That was really cool. So, all right, so we're going 9s across the board there. So, rules. Now, the rule book, it's a little weird because there's 2 books in the box. Right. So, one that says contents on the cover. That's all you get. And the other one says base game. So, between the two, first thing I'm like, okay, this must be the rules. And I get it out, and no, this is the tiles. This is the index of all the tiles and all the pieces. So I grabbed the wrong book, but they really should have had a cover page on here to tell you which one was which. This seemed like a huge miss in a game that's so well done otherwise. So the rules are actually the ones that say contents on them, and it's like, why on earth is there not a cover page on these?
That makes no sense.
So so the rule book that is the actual one that says contents. And when you go inside, it's pretty straightforward on how to set it up. It's actually a lot nicer than the Suburbia rulebook, the old one. And it's only really 4 pages of rules. And then you go into all the different solo games and the different variants that you've got in it. So I'm really looking forward to playing through the variants because we haven't tried any of them yet. And then they got the collector's edition. Basically a plug for what you've already got, but they
go into a whole lot of like, flavor into it. And
they have special tiles for these. I didn't even know that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, each one of the cities has its own tile. So Spaceship Earth is actually a tile.
Sweet.
I'm looking forward to trying those. So we'll have to add these in next time. So there's several expansions. Suburbia 5-star, Suburbia Inc., and then this collector's edition tiles and all the special promo tiles.
There's a ton of promo tiles. Yeah,
so there's a lot to try on this game. But every time you insert them, you have to remove them because the game length doesn't change when you add them. So as far as the rules, I'm going to go ahead and give these probably an 8 reluctantly.
Really?
They weren't hard to read.
Yeah, they were hard to read, but
they were set up well. But just putting the cover. I mean, the cover is annoying, but it's not really hindering you learning. I mean, once you pick up the wrong book and you figure out the right book, it's annoyance. It was really given the fact of how nice this game is and everything else is so nice. This is really a big miss. So I probably would have given them a 9 otherwise. I thought. Because they did put everything in pictures.
And this is actually this game came out in 2019. I got it back in 2019. Rain, you got yours last year, or was it around 2019?
I think it was probably.
But this is the first time we got it out.
I think we finally got to play, and the reason why you'll notice somebody's absent here.
Yes.
Someone in this house does not like this game, and I don't understand why.
One of her favorite video games that she loves to play is Civ Building.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah. I don't understand why she didn't like it. Her dad seemed to enjoy it when we played with him today. I don't understand it. So it's not genetic. It's
just Miranda.
It's just a defect. All right. So that's the rules. Now let's go on to gameplay. So the gameplay of this game, it's actually pretty straightforward. The hard part is just accounting for the scoring. So each turn you've got a run of the Tower of Terror over here, where we've got the different tiles coming out that are going to be costing based upon how far back in the trail they go. So the first 2, you pay the cost of the tile plus 0, and then after that you pay the cost of the tile plus the incremental cost of 2, 4, 6, 8, up to 10. Actually, on this side, I think it goes up. Differential changes when you play with more players. So we play with 3 players. So there's a side for more. It plays up to 5. So even though we've got this ridiculous number of tiles,
it only plays 5 people.
It only plays 5 people. So
and I couldn't imagine this being beyond 5. I couldn't.
This would be crazy.
This would take so long.
Yeah, 5 is the right number for this to cap at. So each turn you're going to draft a tile, or there's 3 that are in the common area that you can draft, and then either way you're going to burn one of those tiles because that's the clock of the game. Every turn, no matter what you do, you're going to burn one of those tiles. The other option is you've got a 2x. So if you've already got a tile in play that you think will score you a lot more points than what's available to you in the market, you can put this on the tile, burn one of those tiles again, but you have to pay the cost of where it's at in the rondelle over there, whatever you want to call it, and you're going to double the value of whichever tile.
Which basically you get to activate the tile a second time.
So you can do that 3 times during the course of the game.
And then the third option is you don't like any of those, you can flip a tile over. You still have to pay the cost at the top of the dial. So if it's a +2, but you get to flip it over and create a lake. And the lake gives you money based off of what it's adjacent to it.
Yeah, so you're going to need to create lakes. It's almost guaranteed you'll need to create a lake at some point because money is tight in this game.
And that's where I really had a hard time getting money in this game.
Yeah, so then the real key to the game is once you've got your tile you want, it's positioning it.
Yes.
So you start the game with one of the basic tiles of each kind, green, yellow, and gray.
The heavy factory,
and they're oriented
in the suburbs.
They're oriented in such a way that they stand as a straight line up.
Right.
So anything you placed a tile next to triggers an effect based on the tile you placed and any tiles that are adjacent to it, and potentially any tile in your area or in other players' boards. Right. So it takes a lot of keeping up with the game to know what all changes. So you place it, you get whatever's on the tile first, then you check everything adjacent to it, and you get whatever effects that happens. Then you check anything in your total city and see what effects. Then you check everybody else's board every time this happens. And once you do that, then you check the score and adjust the scoring based upon it. After all of that, then you collect your money for income. And then you adjust your population. Once your population adjusts, if it happens on the scoreboard to cross any of the red barriers on the scoreboard, you then have to reduce your income and your reputation on your scoreboard by 1. So that becomes your future income for those. And if you cross multiple ones, which can happen later in the game, then you go down multiple levels. And so keeping a high income and a high reputation is very difficult in this game. So you want to balance it when you're playing the game, because early in the game you need money really badly. But if you get too much population early in the game, you're going to be hurting. But then in the late game, all that matters is population. It doesn't matter.
Because that's victory points.
Yeah. Now, there are bonus tiles, which is the thing you're playing for. They have up to 5 bonus tiles on the... they have a game tray cover for it to actually hold it, which is really nice. They got all these different...
Again, it keeps it really well organized.
Yeah, so you place the tiles on here. These are the ones available to everyone. Each person will also have a personal bonus tile that is going to be used for their own scoring. So you will collect...
That you keep private.
Yeah, you don't show it.
Show anybody.
So you have a secret goal you're trying to accomplish, so you can look at what the other players are doing and try to keep them from keep them from defeating your goal. So I had to keep check because mine was having the most gray buildings, so I was keeping tabs on how many gray buildings both Robert and Dwight were having. So I was making sure that I stayed above them the whole game. So you can kind of play that, but then you also want to try to maximize for the bonuses that are available to the common area. So you got to kind of keep an eye on all of it. So there's a lot to do in this game with very little action choices.
And very little money.
Yeah, yes. You start the game with 15 money, and some of the buildings cost way more than that.
Yeah.
And then you've also got the position of the buildings.
Yeah.
And you have to watch because, the order they come out is random. So
yeah, and so if I was to critique anything, I wish that there was kind of a way to manipulate that a little bit to minimize the luck. Mm-hmm. Because there was definitely several times where everything on there was way more. I'd have 12 money.
Yeah.
Still didn't have enough to buy anything because it was 14 or above.
Yep.
Or the lower cost cards were further up the track, which added more money to it. I didn't have the money. So I would have to either burn one of those tiles and make a lake, or buy one of the open or common tiles, which I really didn't want. Mm-hmm. But it kind of... I don't know if I'd call it a wasted turn because I got a little bit out of it. Yeah. Just not what I wanted. So I wish that it really hurt.
Yeah.
It really, really hurt.
I mean, it looked like Dwight was going to run away with it early on.
Oh, yeah, especially with the money.
He kept getting all these powerful money tiles.
He had 12, 15 money a turn.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
So, but then, I started getting some income, and I ended up with way more income than Dwight. Of course, his money was mostly from lakes, where he didn't have income. He just placed things next to lakes and got $6 billion for some reason. So, I mean, you can play this lots of different ways.
It's true.
And there's it's there's four colors of tiles: gray, green, yellow, and blue.
Right.
Basically,
That's it.
That's basically all there is to it. And they do basically the same thing, but each tile is just slightly different.
And how you place it, like Randy said earlier, placement is key to this game.
Yeah. So it's a really, for being
it's
a
just a really
simplistic
interesting game.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game. And it's just, I wish it was a little easier to administer. This version of it is way easier than the other version, but it's still kind of an administrative chore.
And there is a lot of tension. So if you do have a problem with, take that, there's an element to this game. Not real bad, but it's there.
There's more of an effect of what you do has a benefit to me than there is a harm.
You took money from me.
No. The thing is logistically, if you built a high-scale restaurant and a bunch of fast food restaurants open next to it, it's going to have a negative effect.
I agree, but it's still that element though.
Yeah.
So you have to I just want to make sure people are aware of that there is a little bit of, oh man, that sucked that you did that.
But it's not really a geared attack. It's not like you're intentionally attacking.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But it's got an element.
It's a passive attacking system, I guess you would say.
And so some people may or may not like that. And I don't know if I think AP could be a problem with people.
It can. I mean, if you're trying to figure out where to position the tile, and there's I think one time where I chose a tile, and then I'm like, oh wait, this is going to suck for me, and then I took it back, and so there could be while you're trying to choose your tile and lock it in, that you could have some analysis paralysis there. But I don't think it's horribly bad in this game. There's definitely way worse than this.
Oh,
game.
Sure, I'm not saying that, but it's still an aspect to be aware of.
Yeah. But all in all, this is I think
fun game
for what how simplistic the game is as far as what your actions are. I think there's a lot of strategy in this game, a lot of meat, and I really enjoy it. Now, if you're familiar with Castles of Mad King Ludwig, this was the precursor to that.
Yeah.
And I think they took this game and they streamlined some of the elements of it and made it more approachable for not as heavy gamers. I don't say non-gamers, but not as heavy gamers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one is actually better because of it. But I still enjoy going back to the original because there's enough differences between the two that I enjoy this one almost as much as the other one.
Especially this version.
Yeah, this version is a lot more fun just because it's pretty, and I love the cities. That's my favorite part. But I also like it's got the metal coins. I mean, the components of the original are really bad.
Mm-hmm.
If we were evaluating the original, the quality of components would probably be a 4 for me.
Right.
This one is, we already gave us what, an 8.5, 9, something we gave on that.
Yeah. 8.2 by BGG, so we were right up there.
Yeah, this one is way better, leaps and bounds, and I'm so glad. I don't mind that I spent extra money for this because it's worth it.
So the designers, Ted Allspec, art. There's a lot of people involved with the art. So Joan Bowles, Stephanie Gustafson, Brett Stebbins, Taylor Bogle, and Olin Tim. But it's a pricey game, so an MSRP is at $150. Now you can get it cheaper at Amazon, Card House, or some websites.
For the collector version?
Yes, for this version. So without going to a...
But it won't have the...
Yes, the collector's version comes with this.
No. This was special on top of this. I have the collector's edition. I had to add this.
Okay, so
you won't get all of these. You'll get the hand-selected ones that were already in the collector's edition, but you don't get all 20.
But the collector's edition is $150. I'm not for sure exactly what comes in it. So, because I went all in on mine, and it came with everything. It may be. I mean, and if that's what you're into.
Yeah. Could be. All right. So we didn't do scores. I'm going to give this version of this game a 9.
I agree. It's a solid game. A lot of fun. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. So it's just got a lot of things going for it.
Yeah, if I were rating original Suburbia, I'd probably give it more as far as a gameplay of an 8. I think, but I think the components, the more ease of use as far as scoring because of the wood feet aspects that they've added. I think it simplifies it, and they've also, one of the other things is they used to have a wrapping score system where
Yes.
the board wrapped, and it was kind of annoying. They've changed it. It's still a little annoying though, because
It's not as confusing.
it's not as confusing, but it confused me because they changed it, and it would have been nice if there was some kind of thing to at least indicate that you were coming in from the left each time.
It would have been nice if it was just a straight track.
Yeah, yeah.
But they made it look like highway, and that you got houses on the highway, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's why it's all weird.
Yeah. So yeah. You get houses on the highway.
Yeah, it's weird.
I wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah, not on a highway.
No, that'd be hard, especially
Regular streets okay, but not highway.
tell everybody get out of your driveway.
Yeah, get off my highway.
All right. Well, that's Suburbia
Collector's
Edition. Hopefully you enjoyed this, what you saw. You can hit the subscribe and follow along. We'd love to have you. Would like to come have you back at our table again soon.
Absolutely.
And, go ahead and comment. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like. Tell us what you thought of Suburbia yourself if you got it. We'd love to get responses, and we'll respond most always to those. And and I have the same game as you now.
Good for Randy. Even though he's got 2,908 more games than I do. Doesn't matter. So, have a good night.
All right, bye.
Bye.